Hi, Kian. My name is Nicolette. I'm the podcast creator for the title You're Worthless. Read that again. Juxtaposition of Your Very Soul. Thank you very much for actually reaching out. And I know we had to schedule our interview for a few times. And congratulations again uh, on being newly married. So,
Thank you so much.
no problem. So, you're in which part of the world are you in right now?
Yeah, I'm based out of Vancouver, Canada. So Vancouver, British
Vancouver.
Columbia. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Never been there, but that place looks and it's very cold there, right? I know it.
Not too cold. We actually have all four seasons. Now we're starting to enter into fall, so we're probably going to get a lot of rain. But during the
Okay.
summer, we had a lot of sunshine, and it was pretty warm this summer. Very warm this
Oh,
summer.
okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna do a bit of introduction about you to our
Okay.
listeners. Yeah. Okay, so hi all. Today we have Keane Yu here. He's a multi-talented individual serving both as a mindset and transformation coach, and he's also a luxury realtor with a strong background in digital marketing. So he's got a passion for fitness, nutrition, and personal development. So he's dedicated to helping individuals reach their peak potential in life. So, Kian, could you tell us about your career right now, or if you have left it, and what made you venture into becoming a mindset slash transformational coach?
Yeah. So previously, and well, I still am a real estate agent, but I
Mm,
recently found more passion in helping people on the personal development journey. It's something that I've been on for quite some time myself, just entering into the workforce, or even kind of just growing up. I've always understood that we can always be better, and I was always on the path of pursuing personal development and just trying to be my best and highest self. And I think I found that at a very young age. And until it was when I was finally committed to myself and being in my best physical shape was when I felt ready to actually take people on the path of bettering them and helping them on their personal development journey.
so, you said that you realized there's something about you, about yourself wanting to be better, and also about helping people, to be better themselves. So, as you know, my podcast talks a lot about self-worthiness and
Mm-hmm.
and the sometimes the doubt that we have about ourselves, right? Which is obviously not true. So, I'd like to ask you, have you ever succumb to this feeling of worthiness before, or maybe at any point in your life you experienced something like this? Maybe any major trauma event or
Well, I
something
think a
similar?
lot of times we, I think it's just in our human nature that a lot of times we feel not worthy of what we want to try to do or try to achieve, even if
Mm,
it's, let's say, for example, applying for a job or trying to ask a girl out on a date or
that's
like
that's relevant
just
to
anything that we feel slightly uncomfortable with. We
mm,
have the negative self-talk in our own mind, thinking that, oh, we're not good enough to do this, or we're not good enough for this. And some people are able to kind of just ignore that talk, and
yeah.
other people might let that voice in their head stop them from taking the next action.
Mm.
But I think the that kind of self-talk is inevitable. Everybody has it, but
Mm.
it's just how you react to it. So you can be somebody that's reactive to that negative self-talk, or you could be somebody that's proactive to that negative self-talk, because and it's in our nature to talk negative about ourselves, but it's just us taking a step back, realizing like, hey, we're telling ourselves we're not worthy about something. Is this true? Yes or no? Do I have any previous experience in this particular area that I'm trying to face right now? Yes or no? And then we can kind of have this mental negotiation with ourselves to overcome that self-talk.
And for you, would you say that you've been able to conquer that negative self-talk? I
I
mean,
don't
what
want
are
to say
your
conquer, but I will say be able to handle it a lot. Yes.
okay,
I think
so
it's something that's very tough to conquer, and I think it's an ongoing and a continuous journey to just always trying to be better and be better at dealing with the negative self-talk.
so could you tell us what are your tips like the how do you switch on your light like just like that? Like I don't know if you can just be able to okay, you know, I'm going down that path again, negative self-talk. I need to veer to this side. So what do you do?
Well, I think it takes practice. If it's somebody that hasn't really done much practice, or at least try to practice to be proactive with their thoughts, it
Mm,
might be a little bit harder for them to kind of steer them into a different direction. But I think the first thing comes with awareness. Being
mm,
aware that you're having these train of thoughts, being aware that you're thinking in a way that might be destructive to yourself, and being aware that these thoughts are serving you no good. And if you're able to be aware that you might need to move to the next level, which is acceptance, whether the acceptance
mm,
of
mm.
it being true, or
Yeah.
accepting that you are in a negative state, thinking negatively. But the good thing is, us being negative gives us an opportunity to be positive, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good
In in in
one.
in the world, or in the universe, there's universal law, and there's a law called the law of polarity. So
Mm,
whatever we're discussing, there's always going to be an opposite. So if wherever there's something that's negative, there has to be something that's positive, right? And that goes the
mm.
same for emotions. Something that might be sad, in order to experience true sadness, you need to experience true happiness, and vice versa. So if you've never been happy before, how can you really be
Mm.
sad? But if you've never really been very sad before, how can you be really happy? You kind of have to have that spectrum of feeling to in order to really appreciate what happiness or sadness truly is.
Wow. Okay, that's an eye opening. Definitely gonna clip that out. So, okay, Kian, you're a coach. What are some effective strategies for establishing a consistent daily discipline routine, be it in doing your workout, eating healthy, etc., etc.?
Yeah, I think the first thing is identifying exactly what your weaknesses are, and
Oh my gosh, I
where you want
don't
to be
really want to
better.
face myself.
Be better in, right? For
Mm,
example, if somebody's having if if somebody's subconscious is telling them something, there's
mm,
probably an opportunity for them to do better in that specific area if they're willing to work on it.
okay, all right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It was just yesterday I felt like this. Okay. Okay,
But
so
I would
mhm.
one thing that I do recommend everybody to do, and I know it can be very uncomfortable, but it's super easy, which is just going out for a
What?
walk for 15-20 minutes a day. Like
Ah,
every single day,
okay,
rain or
okay.
shine. And if you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of just start with that, like you start building a habit or a discipline of going out for a walk 15-20 minutes every single day, rain or shine, snowing, cold or hot, whatever the weather is, you just dress up for the appropriate weather, go out for a 15-20 minute walk. And as you continue to do that, you'll feel better about yourself. Your self-confidence, your self-esteem will elevate. And then from there, you're going to be like, hey, I'm getting a really good feeling about this. What else can I do to be better?
Oh, okay. That's a good one because I told myself like let's say I had the same thought like going out for a walk at least or just lifting some weights at home for 15 minutes. But then I tell myself, I give myself some leeway. You know what? Today it's fine. You can skip it because you've had a long day at work. So
Mm-hmm.
you continue tomorrow, but then it doesn't get done. And then
Yeah,
when the
so
guilt
that's why.
comes over,
Yeah.
like let's say it's already been like maybe 3 to 4 days, I haven't lifted any weight. So it's like, oh shit, then you start blaming yourself again. It's the guilt tripping yourself, and then that's a
Yeah,
very bad
and then
cycle.
that's where the negative self-talk continues to compound day after day after day, right? And then
Yeah.
eventually you yeah, eventually it'll just continue to be there. And then the next thing you know, let's just say a month goes by and you're like, it's been a whole month since I've lift, lifted the weights.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you still
Yeah.
might think, okay, well, I'll give it another day. And the next thing you know, it might be the next month, 2 months later, and then you beat yourself up again for that, right?
Mm.
So the longer you prolong it, the harder you end up beating yourself up for it. And that's where the kind of the negative self-talk cycle will get worse and worse and worse as you
Mm.
prolong what your subconscious is telling you to do, but you're not willing to do
Okay. Okay. 15 minutes. Even if it's not 15 minutes, just maybe 10
at least
minutes,
do something. Yes.
Do
So
something,
like
move. Yeah.
so like the reason why I say start off with the walk
Yeah.
is because there literally should be no excuse for anybody to not be able to go out for a walk for 15 to 20 minutes.
Mm.
I guarantee you, whoever is looking on, like if they're on their phone, they look at their Instagram screen time or their Facebook
Oh
screen time.
gosh,
I
six
guarantee you,
hours.
it's more than half an
Yeah,
hour. Like I
definitely.
think the average person is
Gosh.
probably on it for 2 hours a day, right? And that's like not even an episode on Netflix if you're going out for a 20-minute walk,
Yeah.
right? And you don't need any equipment. You,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% sure most people will have the appropriate apparel for the weather in their specific area where they're living.
Okay.
So
Getting
that
called out.
15-20 so for that 15-20 minute walk,
Uh-huh.
regardless of how uncomfortable it is, the most uncomfortable one will be when it's raining.
Oh yes. Because you
It's
just
like,
feel like
oh,
sleeping
it's raining.
in.
I'm gonna
All the
stay in
more
today. I'll
reason.
go.
This is the universe saying to me, you know what? You deserve a break. You don't need to go out.
But if you
But
can
yes.
overcome going out, especially when it's raining, and if it's raining really, really hard, and you decide to just go, you'll feel the best. Like you'll feel so rewarded when you finish that walk and you walk home and you're like all wet, but take off your rain jacket and you just like, wow, I did something that I'm so uncomfortable with, and you just feel so good about yourself. And that's how you gain momentum to want to do better and do more with your own well-being.
Hmm. Okay. All right. I'll do that. Today, later, after our call. I'm gonna go walk and then I'm gonna lift some because today I was supposed to wake up earlier before our call and then do slot in some ways, but then I of course woke up at 10 and I said, okay, need to do interview for Kian, so skip it. So yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so how can one strike a balance between maintaining a structured daily routine but also allowing for some spontaneity in flexibility in their routine
Well,
daily life.
I
Mm.
think if you keep something that's pretty structured and you have it when it's flexible, I don't think it should be flexible in a way where you're changing it up each and every single day. I would say flexible in a way where it's like I do this when I'm here, but even if I'm on my vacation or on a honeymoon, I will
Hmm.
still do my routine, but I just need to change something up a little bit
Yes,
and
it's
be
just
flexible
meant
in
for you.
that way. Not being
Yeah.
in a way where it's flexible, where it's like, okay, I know I have to wake up, I know I do my cold shower, then my burpees, and then I journal, and then I try to get an exercise workout in. Okay, maybe today I feel like I'm not going to do my exercise, so I'm not going to do it. Right? It's not
Mm.
being flexible in that way, but it's being flexible in a way where, okay, I have a program in about 4 or 5 months. This is what I'm doing, but I think I can tweak this a little bit to cater a little bit more to what I need now in my current life. Right? For example, maybe it's like, okay, I'm looking to build more strength. Maybe I need to be in the gym slightly longer, so you cut down a little bit of your cardio. Or maybe you want to be flexible in a way where, okay, I think I've read enough books this year. Maybe I'll just cut my reading down to 10 minutes a day instead of 30 minutes a day.
Mm.
So it's being flexible in that way where it's like month to month, there's some flexibility to it, but not a day by day
Mm-hmm.
flexibility. But if you have
Okay.
something that's very structured and is a system for you, that system is always going to be there to support you. It's always going to be there to elevate you, and it's always going to be there to make you feel grounded, right? So my system, for example, would be waking up, taking a cold shower, and then doing some burpees just to get my heart racing, and then getting my supplements in, and then journaling and reading a little bit, and then if it's a day for my workout, then I'll do my workout. But those are the things that I do every single day. That's non-negotiable. So
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what time I wake up, if I wake up early or if I wake up later,
Mm-hmm.
then I still do it. But for example, if I have an appointment at 9 a.m., then that means I just have to wake up a little bit earlier. But if I don't have any appointments set and I wake up at 9 a.m., I still do my routine. So it's my system that I do every single day before I go out to the world to serve other people,
Right.
right? Because I'm a big believer in being able to do things to give yourself the love that you need first before giving love to anybody else.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And do you think that you do that how do I say, if you were by yourself, would you say to yourself, let's say you're traveling, would you do the same thing as well?
I would still do it. Yes, yes. It's just because it's like I feel like if it's not done, something is going to be missing
Off.
throughout my day, right? It's kind of like
Mm,
it's just that system that's grounding me, that's just preparing me for the day, right? I mean, it's something that takes, if I really do it fast, maybe half an hour. But if I take my time because I have the time to be able to do it, it might take an hour, it might take an hour and a half. But then the workout will be where whenever I can get that in. If I am really short on time, then I might have to work out a little bit later or get my training in a little bit later. But it's still something that if I'm training that day, I need to find a way to do it.
right. Non-negotiable. Find out what
Yeah.
your non-negotiables are and then just do it regardless. Okay?
Yes. And I just
So,
recommend people to just start with walking around, just going for a 15, 20-minute walk as a non negotiable. Because some people might not be in the routine or in the habit of training. Like I'm
yeah, yeah,
right. I'm somebody
yeah,
that I've been playing sports my whole life, so I've always was active. So training kind of just became something that I can consistently do.
yeah.
But not everybody not everybody has a training program. So maybe it's still a little bit of an exercise, which is going out for a walk, or maybe if they do a little bit of cardio, if they like going out for a jog or something like that, and it's just trying to keep it structured so they get it done as many times as they can throughout their lives, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So, what can you tell us about the power of mindset?
The
This is one
power
of
of
your
mindset.
questions. Yes.
Yeah, I think the power of mindset is just the way that we get through these non-negotiables. The power of mindset is the way that we're able to discipline ourselves and be able to kind of just endure and do the things that we don't like to do, knowing that we have to do them, right?
Mm,
Somebody with a weaker mindset may not necessarily be able to be as disciplined. Somebody that has a weaker mindset may fall victim to their negative vices more often,
mm,
and somebody with a strong mindset will not be able to be peer pressured into doing things such as like drinking or doing cannabis or whatever other negative vices that a lot of people have, right? So building
yeah.
a strong mindset allows you to keep like kind of keep these things out of your life
Mm.
if
Well,
that's
what
your
are your,
desire.
yeah, so what about those people that actually would, they still, do these things recreationally?
Mm-hmm.
socially. But they don't want to give that up because, when they're with their social friends, they still want to, how do I say this, socialize. And
Mm-hmm.
I know maybe you're gonna say there are a lot of ways to socialize, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're also starting on the path of, okay, I want to be more healthy. I want to start taking uh, care of myself better
Mm-hmm.
because of maybe, okay, they just want, number one, they just want to be, or number two, they just, maybe they've been diagnosed with something, or maybe they
Mm-hmm.
feel something's off with their body. So what do you
Yeah.
say about these people?
So I think let's just say drinking alcohol for an
Mm,
example, because that's something
yeah.
that's very common. Society thinks that it's normal for people to socialize over drinking,
Mm,
and drinking is a big part of many different cultures,
yeah.
right? Um, I really believe that there's a lot of people that go out, they have fun, they go drinking, they socialize, but they always end up facing regret. I'm sure a lot of times they they feel that, hey, I'm going to socialize, but I don't really want to have some I don't really want to drink tonight. But because
Yeah.
they're around their friends are drinking, they end up going to a bar. They end up succumbing to drinking, and then they end up facing regret the next day, or even the day of.
Mm,
I think more people will experience that than being just genuinely enjoying the alcoholic drink and saying like, hey, I just really love getting drunk, and I need to get drunk every single day.
yeah.
Because I don't I can't really speak for other people,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I personally don't believe that getting drunk is not something that people regret doing.
Okay.
But I don't know. At least every time I've been drunk, I regretted it.
Okay,
Right.
maybe moderation, like maybe a glass of wine, it's fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like at night, or yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
but then
once
again,
in
it's looking at it from a
two.
different perspective. Is kind of like, why do we need that glass of wine? What is the purpose of just kind of consuming alcohol over dinner, or like what purpose does it serve somebody? Because they might
Mm.
say, having that glass of
Ease my
wine just eases my
anxiety.
nerve.
Yeah,
It makes me
yeah.
feel, I feel like a lot of times people are saying like, hey, I can't wait till dinner. I'm gonna have my beer, crack open a fresh one. It's gonna be so
Mm.
good. Like I, in my opinion, I feel like that's negative self talk. Like you're trying to find something as an escape. People might not agree with me on that, but the reason why I say that is because you're looking for something that you need in order to feel good,
Function. Mm.
or function, or relax, right? Because I used to be like that with cannabis. I used to be I
Oh,
love, yeah, I love
thank you
cannabis.
for
Like,
thank you for being candid.
I love cannabis, and I still do, but I've made the lifelong commitment to just be sober, like no more alcohol, no more cannabis, and it's
Oh,
a commitment that I'm gonna make. So I'm gonna
it's a
do my
choice
best
that you
to.
make every day.
It's exactly right, and I still around friends. They're smoking cannabis, and oh, it smells good. I would like to partake in this activity, but then again, I don't allow myself to, right? Because I think it's just developing that discipline, that strong mindset, and just being able to stop myself. And same with alcohol. Having a couple drinks with friends is definitely very fun. And then when you get the buzz going on, just like,
Yeah.
everything's just, you just let loose, and everything is just so fun. But then again, afterwards, when you feel like crap the next day, you have regret.
Yeah.
And
So
then
I think it's
it, and
also
then
important. Yeah. Yeah. You were saying.
yeah, and then not only that, it's like just consuming alcohol is not very, very good for the body. Like we know that it contains a lot of calories. I
Mm.
don't. It's very, very rare that you see somebody super fit that really takes care of their body.
Takes
That's
alcohol
somebody
or
that drinks a lot of alcohol.
yeah, yeah. I think it's also important what you were saying that when you are with a bunch of friends and they're doing things that you used to do, but you don't do it anymore out of your own accord, it's also to be able to pat yourself in the back and say, okay, you did a good job today. You know, by not, I wouldn't say succumbing, because succumbing is sounds very negative. It's like, okay, you didn't partake, and that's good job for you. You know, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, it's the daily wins. I think the small wins.
Yes, and then
Yeah,
you continue to compound them every single day, and it makes you stronger, makes you more self confidence, boosts your self esteem, and your worthiness, your own self worth. It drastically increases as you take these wins day by day, and the longer that you go without alcohol, for example, the more proud of
yeah.
yourself you feel. Right? It's just that compounding
Mm.
day by day progression that you make. So if you decided to stop alcohol and you're only 3 days in, you won't feel as good as if you were 3 months in,
3 months in.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a really good example and something I'm actually very proud of myself is
Mm.
even during my wedding,
Yeah.
like I didn't drink, I didn't smoke cannabis, like
Really?
no
Zero.
alcohol at all.
Wow.
Yeah, because I've already
Okay.
made this commitment, and during my engagement party, like my stag or my
But
bachelor
yeah, yeah,
party,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
all my friends, they're all like all my great friends, right? Like very close, right? And they're all like, "Oh, come on, Kian, come
Yeah,
on, let's
yeah,
have a."
yeah.
And I just said no the whole time, right? And then they're like, "Oh, dude, if
Wow.
you drink
It
within
takes
this
a
year,
lot
we're
of
gonna be
guts.
so pissed off." But I'm like, "Hey guys, I like made this decision. Like, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
drink, and it's a commitment for life." And then even at my wedding, I think I've said this and kind of shared it enough times. Let people know my vision. Let people know what I stand for. Like there was
Makes
no peer pressure at all. Maybe just a couple times they're like, "Oh,
sense.
Kian, you having a drink?" I'm like, "No, not
Yeah.
today." And then
Yeah.
when we're doing the toast, I had some ginger ale in the champagne glass, and they're like, "Oh, Kian, you're drinking?" I'm like, "No, it's ginger ale."
Ginger ale. Wow, it's something that you really hold very high of, and it's
Hmm.
something very commendable. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason for that is it's not even only for myself. It's for my people, right? It's for the people that I'm, you know,
That you
I
you
want to
close, that
inspire
people
and I
look
want
up
to
to you. Yeah.
empower, right?
Yeah.
So it's as much as it's for myself, it's also as much as it's for other people.
That's right. Okay, so how okay, I know you have a program yourself. So how are you integrating all of that we talked about into your coaching technique?
Well, most of it is just me living it every single day. It's something
Mhm.
that something that worked for me, something
Okay.
that's continuously healing me, something that's continuously the path that I'm on,
Mm.
and me doing it for myself, and it works for myself. I know what I coach and what I help other people through is helping them in the same way. It might not necessarily be exactly identical, but I
Mm.
can still provide them with the guideline and the path to be able to go through that same journey.
So say somebody wants to sign up with you today. So if they were to join, what does your coaching entail? Like how would you prep them up for success?
Yeah, so I've got two programs. One of them is the elite one, which is a one-to-one, and then I
Okay.
have a one-to-many where mainly in both these programs, what I do create for them is basically create their plan for them, and
Hmm.
I create a training program, whether if they're doing training at home or if they want to train in the gym, whatever equipment they have access to, be able to create a program for them, and then also provide them with the nutrition program. Ideally, my coaching is to help them get into the best physical shape that they can be in, and then
Mm-hmm.
also we work on strengthening their mind as well. And then we for the one to one we do weekly calls, and that's for accountability, going helping them with whatever problems or issues that they're going through in their life. Maybe they need somebody to hold them accountable or somebody
Yeah.
to guide them.
Yeah.
Or the one to many is a weekly group call, and then everybody will be on that call, and then we just talk about whatever problems, anything discussing about training, mindset, and nutrition. The elite one is a little bit more intimate because they get one-on-one access to me, so they can talk to me
They
about
can
whatever,
basically, yeah.
anything. Yeah, whether it's like marketing or business, like whatever
Oh,
that they really need help with, right? Maybe somebody is trying to work on their social media, for example.
yeah.
Then they can,
Yeah,
they'll
because
be
you're a
able to access
digital
me that.
marketer, right? As well, you've got that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So can people find this in your Instagram?
Yeah, so a
Okay, so
lot of
if
time
let's say
it's
if
just
they yeah,
reaching
if
out to
let's
me
say
on
they wanna
Instagram.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that's the platform that I'm most active on. I'm always on Instagram. And then
okay,
if somebody's interested in working with me, they can just shoot me a DM, and then I'll be
mm,
responding right away.
okay. So what are some of the examples that you eat and do to nourish your body and your soul?
Yeah, so diet is very important to me. I'm gonna say
Mm-hmm.
that I don't eat the most healthy, but I
Oh, well,
am,
guilty.
but I know everything that I'm eating. I track all my food.
Oh,
So
you're the
the way
third one
that
that says striking macros. Okay.
yeah, so I'm a huge believer in macros because that's what got me into the best shape. Like I've tried many different diets.
Ah,
All of them kind of work
okay.
temporarily, and then you kind of fall off them. And
Right. Okay.
for example, you do keto diet, you can't eat bread, and me being Asian, love rice,
Yes. I love rice too.
right? So
Yes.
like it's very tough for me to be on a keto diet. I've tried pescatarian diet where that's just like I think it's just chicken and fish or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they all work for a short amount of time, but it always feels so restricted, and then
Yeah.
you end up falling off of it, right?
Yep.
But even
Yep.
though you are eating, let's just say, even though you're on a keto diet, but if you're not counting
Mm-hmm.
your caloric intake, if you don't know how much calories you're actually consuming, even though you're not eating carbs, you can still gain a lot of weight because you're over consuming calories, and you may not necessarily lose weight if that's your goal. But
Mm.
one way to for sure to know if you want to gain weight or to lose weight is by counting macros. That's knowing your specific calories, knowing how many grams of protein, how many grams of fat, and how many grams of carbs that you're intaking each day.
Okay.
So for
Okay.
me,
So yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's my next
just kind
question.
of
Is like, so we're
going back to
Asian. So
what I'm
what
eating.
do we need to do?
Yeah, so
Okay.
what I typically eat, like a normal dinner, which is most of the time for me, would just be like white rice, white jasmine rice, and chicken breast.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's chicken breast that's seasoned
Ah.
with Cajun, or I use some uh, low fat, sugar free barbecue sauce, or whatever kind of dressing that I want. That's like just low fat and low carbs. Because
Okay.
I don't like having extra, like, sauces are very calorie dense, so you don't want to use you want to be selective with what sauce you're using. And then if it's not chicken breast, then I'll have like extra lean ground turkey because I
Mm-hmm.
also like that as well too. And then kind of just sometimes I'll, depending on how I make it, a lot of times I'll just mix it up with rice and maybe some chopped lettuce and some ground turkey, and it kind of turns into like kind of like a taco bowl,
Yeah.
and then have some hot
Okay.
sauce, something like that, right? So that's my typical dinner. Usually for breakfast, it'd probably be some toast and eggs,
Very
and
nice.
that's about it. And then also some protein shakes. So I do try to keep my diets very simple. Like today for dinner, I just had some. I used some spicy Korean barbecue sauce with some diced up chicken breast, and then kind of just grilled it. And then I have some white rice, and then a little bit of veggies. So that's kind of like that's my whole. my whole dinner. So I
Okay.
keep it very simple. So I would say, because right now I'm not on a aggressive fat loss phase right now, my
Right.
my meals I probably would say maybe about 70% home cooked and then 30% whatever.
Takeout. Mm-hmm.
But then I do my best to make sure that I'm within my macros. So like I know exactly how many calories I'm eating each day.
So it's like one slice of chicken breast, you'd know like how much,
Yeah, I would
what's
wait
the,
out.
how would you
Yeah,
do that?
so I put it on a scale. Yeah, so you have a plate, put it on a scale. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
150
All right.
grams, 150
Uh-huh.
grams of cooked chicken breast,
Okay.
and then I enter it into the app. So where's oh I don't
Whoa.
have my phone.
Okay. Okay, so let's say if I do not want okay, I don't want to say I do not want because there's always I will never say no. But if I were to start, like, can I just buy like a slice and just maybe start with just buying one slice and then because the tediousness of entering the macros that
Hmm.
probably 1 week in I'm gonna be psyched about it and then after that I'll be like, what is this? I got no time for this.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
mean, yeah, it's like okay, I mean you're into that advanced stage of really tracking your macros. Like can you give
mhm.
like some transitional phase for us that wants to go into that but we don't want to go full fledged?
Yeah, I think it's if somebody's on a 3 month program with me, I would just expect them to do it for 3 months. They get the results. Once they get the results that they want, they can decide, hey, like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, or maybe they want to continue to do it. I find that if you're
Okay.
doing something that ends up working and then you find that it's not actually that hard, you probably would want to
Mm-hmm.
continue to do it. Because once you find that, okay, 3 months of tracking and then I stop tracking food, a couple months goes by and you're like, what's going on? How come I'm putting on a little bit more
Yeah,
weight
how
again?
come I'm
Then you're
yeah.
gonna want to go back to the fundamental of tracking your food, right?
Okay. So you just have to do it then. That basically that's what you're saying. If you're with me on
Just
the
have,
program, if they're with you on the program, it's like okay, 3 months, you're gonna
yeah.
commit to
But I
tracking your
think
macros.
once you do it enough, you kind of have a pretty good idea. Like
Yeah,
you
you then you it's like
you'll kind of you might
you
overestimate a lot of things or underestimate a lot of things, but you'll probably
mm,
still be somewhat close. I won't say very accurate, but you'll still be like somewhat close. And if you're not super strict with your diet and your macros, because let's say for example, after my wedding, I'm not looking to be super cut anymore. There, then I have the option to give myself a little bit more leeway. But I'm
mm,
not going to do that because I need to still, you know, withhold
yeah.
my own standards. Right. So maybe somebody is on the program because they have a specific goal that they want to hit just for an event. Maybe they
And
have a
then
photo
I
shoot
think
or whatever.
yeah. And I think
Right.
the most difficult part is I mean reaching your goal about fitness, it's that's one thing, but maintaining it,
Mhm.
that's the
Yes.
most difficult part.
But one thing I do want to say is like I'm not
Hmm.
trying to get people to just do something for a specific goal and then continue
Yeah.
to go off it. My aim
Yeah.
is to help them build that discipline and the healthy habits so they continue to do this for life,
Mm.
right? Because it's just something that's just so good for your own body to know exactly what to consume. Because once you stop tracking your macros, then you end up going to a place where you're just eating for pleasure,
Mm.
right? And when you're eating for pleasure, you're being comfortable.
Mm.
But if you're able to if you're eating in order to fully function and fully optimize for your physique,
Yeah.
then there's a specific purpose to what you're putting into your food. Now, when you look at food, you have the option of, okay, is this for pleasure or is this for purpose,
Yeah.
right? But even if you're not, if like for example, right now I'm not on in aiming for a heavy fat loss, like for big fat loss. I can have that chocolate bar. It just needs to fit within my macros,
Okay.
right?
So finding out what works for you then,
Mm-hmm.
right?
But my goal is to help people to build healthy habits, to build that mindset that helps them eliminate the drinking, help them eliminate the drugs, the cannabis, right, the pornography, whatever it is that society is saying that make men weak. Like
Mm,
I want to work with men to make them strong. I want to work with
yeah,
women to make them strong, not to
yeah,
do what society wants them to do.
yeah. Well, you're doing good work, Ken.
Thank you.
Okay, so how would you define self-worth in your own words?
Self worth,
Mm-hmm.
in my own words. So I would say self worth is the way that you feel about yourself when you look in the mirror, right?
Yep.
Because the mirror is going to tell you
Mm,
exactly what you need to tell yourself because you're looking exactly at yourself. You're looking in the mirror and you're seeing a body that you're not happy with. It's
mm,
it's not it cannot lie to you because you're looking at yourself, right? And
mm,
as you look into the eyes of yourself in the mirror, it'll tell you everything about your it'll tell you every single thing about your own subconscious and what you tell yourself every single day, whether in a good way or a bad way. When you look in the mirror and you genuinely look in the eyes of your in the mirror, it'll tell you all the good things about you, all the bad things about you,
mm.
and you can't hide from it.
So
And
would you
then you
say
take what,
you
yeah,
would you say you get up every morning and you face that head on
yeah,
every day, every single time?
every single time. Well, I mean, as I'm brushing my teeth, there's a mirror in front of me.
Okay. And have you ever felt like I don't know, conceited at some point, like when you're looking in the mirror, or it's just like, okay, Kian, today you're doing good. You're not, you're not gonna, maybe today is not the best day, but what you're doing is good. And yeah,
You know,
like that back and forth
yes, one hundred
conversation with
percent,
yourself.
all the
Mm,
time. And the the biggest one was actually like for the longest time. It was like let's just say even before this year,
mm,
as after I want to say maybe after high school or so, I started kind of getting a little bit gaining a little bit more weight. I've never been overweight, but I've always looked in the mirror and was never happy with my physique. Like I'd have the little like I'd have the love handles and the
right,
muffin top.
right.
Like I wasn't obese or I wasn't ever like super fat, but I always knew I could do better for myself. And it wasn't until this year when I committed to that. So that's like over a decade of negative self-talk. Like everything else is going great, but every time I just look in the mirror, before I shower, it's just like, man, Keane, you got to do better than this, right?
Yeah,
And that's just
you can do
that's just
better.
that self-talk, right? And
Yeah.
then it was finally this year when I'm just like, okay, I really have to do something about it, and it's the best choice in my life
Wow.
because
Did
after
you did you only start your fitness journey this year? Or I mean, because
no,
you were always
I
active back
wasn't.
in.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start my fitness journey this year. It was this year
Okay.
when I committed to be the best shape of my life.
Right.
And when I did
Okay.
that, that was when I finally felt like, hey, Kian, you're ready to help other people on this path. Because that is what self worth is, right? That when I finally did that for myself,
Beautiful.
I felt
Mm,
worthy to help other people on that path.
yeah.
So I've always wanted to do this, but it wasn't until I got myself into the best shape when I felt worthy enough to do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
That
that
was a
was
good
like
one.
it's all from looking in the mirror. And even now, so after before my wedding, I went on a very
Mm-hmm.
aggressive cut. I lost almost 20 pounds, and then
Wow.
I started feeling like, hey, I need to be a little bit bigger. I want to gain more muscle. So now I'm trying to put on a little bit more weight. But as I'm putting on more weight, I feel like I'm not even happy with me having like I just got a little bit more fat than I did, and I'm not happy with that. So now, I'm facing that again. Like, so now I know it's like if I'm uncomfortable with being a few pounds heavier than I should be, I
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine how somebody else that's like 15, 20 pounds, like how
Yeah.
they feel right about themselves. So now it's kind of like, hey, we can help you, right? We can help you get that off and get you feeling better about yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that. I think it was a wonderful sharing. What gets you up in the morning? I know we talk about this, but one thing, what gets you up in the morning?
What gets me up in the morning?
Yeah.
Well, I think just the opportunity to be able to help other people with their own journey. I'm huge, and I'm so passionate about personal development and just talking about self improvement, being better, fitness, training, nutrition, mindset. Just like there's a lot of different areas that I'm very, very passionate in. So those are a few, and then I also love business, marketing, advertising. The whole digital marketing space is like it just being able to connect with people and help them
Mm-hmm.
with that is enough for me to kind of just get up and want to just give as much information and value as possible in those particular areas that I feel very confident and worthy in.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Do you have a mantra that you live by?
Um, so I don't know if it's really like as you say this, I don't know if it's really a mantra, but it's I would
I mean,
always
if it's
I've had
important
it
to you.
I've had it on my wall before when I used to live in my parents' basement, and it was be extraordinary. So I would say my mantra would be always be extraordinary,
Mhm.
and that's just kind of like a reminder that you know can be the best that we can be, right? Like
Don't
yeah,
be,
it's
don't,
it's kind
you're
of like
going,
that mentality to always be better.
okay. So if you could create a quote right now for you to leave the audience listening and the world as your legacy, dash Keane Yu, what would it be?
Well, I always say always nourish your mind, body, and soul. I guess that's my other mantra. Always nourish your mind, body, and soul. I say that all the time. Even even at my wedding on the microphone, I'm like, always remember,
Oh,
guys,
really?
nourish your mind, body, and soul. Like
Okay.
for me, nourishing the mind, body, and soul means like you're taking care of your body, you're taking care of the vessel, this amazing vessel that the universe has given us,
Yeah,
and as we take
connection.
care of our bodies, like we need to take care of our mind and make it strong so we know that
Yeah.
it's able to take care of the body. And what that means in terms of
Mm,
taking care of the body is eating the proper food, giving it the proper training and exercise. And that comes with having a mindset to be and an open mind to be able to do that. And as you work on your mind and your body, then that can elevate your soul. As you elevate your soul, then you become better. You become somebody that's raising their vibration and vibrating very high. You
mm.
become somebody that's just attracting more positive into their life.
Yeah, I think that's a that's that's a good way to wrap our interview. I think everything that you said here and I resonated with them, and I think the listeners would benefit so much from hearing this. Like I've had guests coming in, and they talk about the different opinion, the different views about fitness and their own personal development. But one thing that I see, that I notice, the common theme is that it starts here. Everything is here. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well, this is
you
what
cannot.
controls everything. It controls how our hands move, you know how our bodies move, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you so much, Kian, for your time. I
Yeah.
think we're good with time.
Yeah.
It's great talking to you. I'll be airing this couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll be tagging you on my on all the videos. So for all those listeners that actually want to reach out to Kian, want to know more about his coach or in the space of digital marketing or I don't know the realty in the area of realty, can reach out to Ken. You're based in Vancouver, Canada, right?
Vancouver, Canada. Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Ken. Thank you so much for your
Awesome.
time.
Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much. This was fun.
Thank you. Yeah,
All right.
likewise. I enjoyed it. Bye bye.
Take care.
Take care.